Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek, and through the science of technology, we're not looking down today, we're actually looking up. So there you go. See, you're wondering how I did all that fancy stuff. This is actually a green screen. It's very advanced technology that we're working with here, and we have to actually computer animate this entire thing. This is not even real right now. All right, enough of that. I got to tell you something. I'm excited to share with you a new purchase that I picked up that is something I've never owned before. And I actually have to sit over here this way to show it to you instead of looking down from above. We'll take a closer look down from above also. But what I'm excited about is, of course, to have something that I've never owned before in the coin world, but also we've spent quite a bit of time on this channel, if you watch any of the live streams and things of that nature, talking about what is money and what is a coin. And so we get all kinds of pushback on some of the modern stuff that has a funky shape to it, but because the government made it, it has a denomination and therefore it's technically a coin. And then, but you get these other weird things. They're not shaped. Does a coin have to be round? Does it have to be a certain size? Really, money and coins, sometimes we use those terms the same. And realistically, money is anything that you can use to kind of barter with, I'd say. A coin, generally speaking, has to be made by a government, but those things come together most frequently traditionally in a form of something that's like round and small, or actually circular. Round is more like a ball. Now, the first coins, the electrums, the Greek electrums, actually were basically a little pellet, like almost a ball shape with a stamp on it. So they weren't very big, and they were round. They didn't have the shape like we think of a traditional coin. And if you think of a lot of the early Greek coins, they're actually very, rotund. They're kind of like a bean shape almost sometimes. Think of a lima bean or something like that, as though I know vegetables. Anyways, enough of that. So I'm excited to share with you something that is the largest numismatic item I think that I've owned, physically largest. They were used mostly in Scandinavian countries, if that's a little bit of a help. The shape is unusual. It was made basically as a bullion item that would, a lot of coins were made based on their bullion content, but this is large, it's not small. A lot of European countries also made coins of this shape, but were much smaller, usually silver. Sometimes they were called clips or clippies, but this is much, much bigger. And basically, I think mainly two countries made them like this, Sweden, and of course, so that went through all of Scandinavia and Russia. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about plate money. Get a load of this bad boy here. This is the $4. Yeah, I'm going to drop that and cap my own knee right there. So this is the largest size that they made. And you can see the overall size of this thing is, if I'm doing this backwards here, let's do it from this side to this side. You got close to 10 inches this way, and you got, it's about 9 by 9. So based on inflation, I think they actually had some that are measured larger than this, like up to 13 inches by 13 inches, because this is about 2,700 grams. And I think they go over 3,000 grams on the big boys. But the $4 listed is the largest size that they made. And so these were made, Sweden did not have much in the way of gold or silver, but they had a lot of copper. And so they wanted these things to trade and to have value, and so they stamped them. And we'll take a closer look here in just a minute and discover a few more things that you're going to like about this. But we'll take a couple looks at the back of this thing and just see how the texture and how it was hammered out. And then we'll talk more about some of the things that you're going to see on here in the pock marks, because it has a couple more little mysteries that we're going to unravel as we take a closer look at it. All right, so here we are looking at our plate money, and the centerpiece had the denomination, $4, and the mint. And you'll see it's a little bit rough in the center. And then the 4 stamps on the outside had the king's initials on it there, Frederick I, and then the date. And these guys are dated 1732. This guy is dated 1732. Let's see if we can get a closer look here at some of that. And then I want to show you each corner had these stamps. Now if you look down in this corner here, you'll see a lot of corrosion, and some of you may recognize what that looks like, that type of corrosion. Well, this coin, which it's so funny to call it coin, they just use the term plate money, love the big hammer divot there, is actually from a shipwreck in 1783 off the South African coast called the Nicobar. And it's just really cool. It's a neat piece of history, because not only is it something that I've never owned before, it's mammoth in size, but it also is from a shipwreck. So it's kind of got the hat trick going on there. And you can see, I'll try to pan out a little bit here and take a bigger look here at just the size of this guy. Once again, up close and personal. But he's huge, and super excited to purchase him. And these guys, they're all over the place in value. This one I think we're going to price about $1,500 just because it's a little rough. But nicer ones like this, I see guys pricing at $5,000. But of course, condition is everything, right? One more thing I want to look at is you start to see things is from the corrosion. The funny thing is, I think this is just corrosion. But sometimes they did have other counter marks, counter stamps, and at a glance, because of the ridges on here, I thought this was a counter mark or counter stamp. But I'm pretty sure it's just corrosion. And so on the surface of that, you see a lot of that really gritty saltwater exposure. And, you know, but occasionally you see things, right? Like that looks like a mark, but I'm sure it's not. But at a glance, it's like SA, South Africa. Well, no, maybe, you know, you're just seeing things. So, all right, guys, have you ever seen one of these before? Leave your comments down in the box. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. Thanks so much for watching.